Hi, everyone. I'm just going to wait a few minutes. I'm just going to be waiting a few minutes. Hopefully more people come on. Hi, Courtney. Hey, Christy. Dirty Web. What's up? And please share it. It's a simple message that I hope can help one person, if not more. So share. I'm going to wait a few more minutes, or maybe a minute, and then I'll start talking. Hope everybody's having a good Easter Sunday. Lots of chocolate. And if there's any way you can share this, share it. This is my first time doing a live stream on my phone. Or maybe that's all we're going to get. Either way, it's fine by me. So one of the reasons why I want to do this was to kind of tell my story, what I went through, and hopefully help somebody else, anybody else who went through anything like this. If I can save one life by recommending something, explaining my story, then I've done what I needed to do. So basically, when I was 30 years old, I woke up one day and I felt that I broke my toe. And when I was younger, I did a lot of sleepwalking. So I thought I slept walk and broke my toe. So I go to the doctor's office and he tells me, "Oh, no, you don't have a broken toe. You have gout." I didn't know what that gout was, but so I had to do some research. And basically, it's kind of like rheumatoid arthritis, but it's onset from what you eat, different foods that are high in what we call purin. What happens there is my kidneys can't take it out properly, so uric acid builds up in my system, and then I have an attack. And basically, the uric acid forms these little like needles that go into your soft tissues, so it causes lots of inflammation. So over the years, I have found what works for me, what doesn't work for me. I got into how we look into different alternative medicines to help with it. So that's why I know about a lot of the vitamins and minerals to help your body. So now we fast forward to me having gout. 2.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with being a type 2 diabetic. And again, I went back to the natural route, trying to find everything I could to get me back to normal as possible. So taking my vitamins, taking my minerals, doing everything right. And most of you know I had an accident back in July. I was ran off the highway and I hit not a concrete barrier, but I hit a steel barrier head on doing almost 70. I shattered my tibial plateau in 3 places. That's your main lower weight bearing bone towards the top. And I had a TBI. Basically, when you hit a steering wheel at 70 with the airbag, it kind of messes up your noodle a little bit. So anyways, so the last 7 months have been hell. Rehabbing, trying to get myself back right. And then the virus comes around. And it was about 2.5 weeks ago that, because I have to go to doctor's offices, I've been rehabbing and around older, sicker people. So I already knew I had a little bit of an opportunity of getting it, but we're young. We don't think it's going to happen to us. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I started feeling like my sinuses were out of whack. Like oak trees really bother me. And because I've spent over 20 years in the bar and nightclub business, back then you could smoke in all of them. So that kind of messed with my sinuses. So if I'm ever around smokers, I'm hypersensitive to it. So I just figured it was the oak trees around here shedding pollen because I'd get migraines and my sinuses were messed up. Well, that next week, probably around Monday or Tuesday, I didn't get normal symptoms for any of that. I literally just felt like my sinuses were out of whack and I was having bad headaches. So about 4 days later, so it's Monday or Tuesday, when it starts feeling like there's an elephant that was sitting on my chest. And every time I was trying to breathe, I couldn't get my oxygen in. It just felt like something was sitting on me. And by, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, it was also hurting just to breathe. And if you've ever been in the mountain area, high up in the air and did any type of sports, it feels like when you're breathing in, like your oxygen is just on fire. It just feels like you're breathing in fire. And on the way out, it was hurting, like a sore throat, but times 10, constantly hurting. So by, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, I was desperate. I went to the CDC's website. I contacted my doctor. My doctor and the CDC told me to go to the ER because they had the tests. So I walked to the ER and I was looking at the front door, and there's a couple of signs up, and I'm trying to read the signs. And before I even walk in, two people walk out, and it's like they're in these spacesuits almost. And they literally just put a mask on me, and they were walking me and asking me questions. And so when I got put into the room, one of the nurses says, we're going to hook up a 12 lead to him. And I asked why. Now, I did medical stuff a long, long time ago. And they said they were ruling out a heart attack. That didn't even cross my mind, period. So the picture I put up originally when I asked for people to pray for me was because I thought I was having a heart attack. Now, my father had a massive heart attack when he was in his early 50s, and he managed to survive. But my father's uncle didn't. He had a heart attack too. So now I'm really worried. And they gave me the flu test. My blood pressure was like 175 over 120. My pulse rate was like 130, but my O2 saturation, it's a little meter they put on you. It looks like this. These are called pulse oximeters. It tells you how much oxygen you're perfusing through your body. It was 98. So they released me because it wasn't low. And the doctor told me straight up, do not come back to the ER unless you absolutely cannot breathe on your own and need a ventilator, because less than 20% of the people that go on a ventilator don't come off of it. So I was scared to death. At that point, I told my doctor what they told me. He gave me a prescription for Mucinex 12 hour, basically a Z-Pack, amoxicillin, the biggest dosage you could take, and a nebulizer, albuterol. Okay, anybody who's asthmatic knows what these are. So when I started taking them, it gave me some relief, but it kept getting worse. The breathing kept getting worse. By Friday, my O2 saturation, which is supposed to be between 98 and 96, was dropping to the low 90s, like 91, 92, maybe 94. And that's with all the medication. By Saturday, it was dropping into the low, not low, but it was dropping into about 79, 80, 82. But again, that doctor's voice was stuck in my head. Do not come back to the hospital until you absolutely cannot breathe on your own. So I didn't, but I was scared to death. So I'm taking my medicine. Oh, by the way, here, because I know a lot of you were sending out great messages to me talking about vitamins and minerals. There's not one I didn't get. I got the zinc. I got the calcium. I got high doses of vitamin C. I had B12. I had D3. I had turmeric, anti-inflammatory, chromium. I was taking biotin, still am. Magnesium in high doses. Garlic. People ask me about garlic. I was chugging this stuff down like crazy. Garlic. Cinnamon. Cinnamon for me helps with my diabetes. It helps keep my sugar low. I'm taking that. And then apple cider vinegar. I'm taking that. So, and I was taking these too. So anybody says high doses of vitamin C, I was D'ing out. And for me, I was also taking a pH alkalizer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you any of this stuff works. It was the stuff I was taking because I was really scared. Now, at this point on Saturday was when I was getting really bad. I was exhausted, almost 2 weeks of fighting. You know, it just wears you down. The pain wears you down, and you're stuck by yourself. So you really don't have anything else to do except just sit there and think, I'm dying. What am I going to do? So I finally fell asleep, and I woke up right around 3 a.m. on Saturday. It literally felt like someone had my nut just choking the shit out of me to where I could no longer breathe, period. So I ran to the garage, to my kitchen. I grabbed my nebulizer, I took a couple hits of it, and I sat on my little recliner, and something said, turn the TV on. So I turned the TV, and just as I turned the TV on, there was a show that was in replay. So it had been shown earlier, but it was late night replay. And they had a doctor on there talking about the malaria drug. Now, she basically specialized in rheumatoid problems, rheumatoid arthritis, patients with lupus, and she was explaining that over 20 years, she had been treating patients with zero side effects for the malaria drug. I can't ever remember the hydroxy, whatever it is, chloroquine. So so she was talking a little bit more, and then she said she also treated gout patients with it. Well, I've had gout for 20 years. So but I was never prescribed that medication. So I literally Googled Indomethacin coronavirus. And that's when it popped up. Back in 2006, they already had done studies on it and it worked. Do your own research, please, for God's sakes. Indomethacin, look it up. Because this isn't going to stop and this could definitely help people. And for all my conspiracy people out there that are talking about chipping and whatever else, well, you won't need to be chipped. Talk to your doctor. Between the albuterol, the Z-Pak, and the Indomethacin, it wipes it out. So Saturday, I took 2 pills, figured, what the hell, I'm going to die, so might as well try it. So I took 2 pills and I went to sleep. And when I woke up, I went from this meter was on 81, and I have a picture on my page to prove it. 81. Anything below 80, you're basically doing damage to your vital organs. So I went to bed with an 81. When I woke up 4 hours later, only taking 2 of the Indomethacin, this went up to 92. I have pictures. It's on my page. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just explaining to you my scenario, what happened to me. And if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be here today to tell you. So when I woke up, I had 92 on this. I was still exhausted. So I said, awesome. I took 2 more and I went back to sleep. I think I woke up maybe 5, maybe 6 hours later. And this little baby, and again, it's on my Facebook page, was at 98. I was getting good air. I was still in a hell of a lot of pain. It still hurt. I mean, every little breath was still hurting, but at least I was getting oxygen again. I can't remember the full progress later on from the next days after that. But that's my testimony for this, for Indomethacin. I mean, if I can save one person, just a single person, I hope I can. Do your own research. Google it. There's plenty of stuff out there, and it's been there for a while. So that's the first part of what I wanted to talk to you guys about, the medical side of it. Now, I've told some people this story over the last week, and I'm really scared to death to even share it. But I've shared it with about a dozen people, and they've all told me I need to say it. So, when I had my accident in July, when I hit the barrier at about 70 miles per hour, I hit so hard, whatever you want to call your life force, your energy, it left my body for about 2 or 3 seconds. I was at complete peace. I didn't feel anything. And then something said to me, it's not your time. And boom, I was back. And when I came back, that's when I felt everything. My lips split open, my head, my leg. I was just in so much pain. When they transferred me to the hospital, we had to fight to get in. And once I got in, that whole night, I was in so much pain. I asked God, I said, please, God, just take me. If I'm going to feel this the rest of my life, just take me. Now, I'm not a religious person. Anybody who's known me for a period of time knows the only reason why I've ever been to a church in the last 20 or 30 years was for a marriage or a death. My grandmother was a very spiritual woman. She believed a Southern Baptist. And when I was a kid, I grew up in a household that was broken like most people our age. Father was abusive, mother was caring, but could only do so much. So any chance I got to get out of my house, I did. And so my grandmother would come pick us up on the Sunday to take us to church. I can't tell you a Bible passage. I can't remember a verse. I do remember, the 10 Commandments and 40 days and 40 nights kind of stuff. But that's about as far as I have for religion. My grandmother donated a lot of money to a church because they were building a new mega church. And the pastor took the money and ran. So that's why I was not against religion. It just going to a house of the Lord was not for me. I always believed in a higher power. I always tried to do the right thing, but I'm as big a sinner as anybody in here. So that was the first time for my accident. Now, go through a 7 months of rehab. After the surgery, that day where I felt like, please take me out, when I woke up from my surgery, all of that pain was gone. Now, 7 months later, here comes the coronavirus. We are back to my 3 a.m. waking up, feeling like it's it. I took the medication. I turned the TV on. I listened to her. I Googled it. I took the two Indomethacin, and I said a prayer. Please take me. If I'm going to go out, then please do it peacefully. I never asked God for redemption or anything. Just take me. I was done. I was ready to go see my mom, my dad, and other people. Then something told me to turn the TV on, and that's when that show appeared. And that doctor just was coming on. And something also told me to Google my name. Google what my name means. So I'm going to share it with you for a second. Hold on. Let's see if I can. Hold on for a second. So basically I was told to Google my name. And I can't. Hold on for a second, guys. So when I Googled my name, it basically showed me the biblical value of my name. It said basically I was an interpreter of dreams, and I foreseen not me, but the book of Daniel, that he had foreseen 4 ways of the end of the planet, end of the earth. I mean, it shook me pretty good because, again, I'm not a religious person. I do believe in religion. I do respect people's religion. I just wasn't for me. So at the same time, it gave me a voice in my head. It dumped, instead of like a conversation, it just dumped a ton of stuff on me all at one time. And as I was recovering all this week, I mean, I literally was sleeping 15 to 20 hours a day. I was so exhausted and recovering from this. But each day I would get a little bit more information. And I'm not a holy person. I'm not a savior. I'm just a messenger. And I went back and forth with this because I'm like, why would people follow me? Why would people even listen to me? And the basic point was, I guess, because I've screwed up my life. I've done bad things. Not bad, but I've made poor judgments in my life that have cost me. But I never lost my core values. Meaning, I mean, in nightclub bar industry, I was offered the ability to sell drugs, make easy money. I never did any of that stuff because I didn't believe in it. I really liked the bar and nightclub industry because people were entertained. Back when we had fish bowls in the 08, 09, to me it was really vital because we were going through the same thing, not the virus, but the economy was in shambles. People were miserable. And they just wanted to get out for a few hours to forget about their problems. And I felt good for doing that. But I also got to see the dirty side of the business, the drugs, people over drinking, using it for the wrong reasons. So anyways, what the voice told me, or what it's kind of iterating to me, is a simple message. We all are inherently born knowing what's right and wrong. It's in our body. We just don't listen to it. I questioned, why'd you take one of my friends? And I'm not going to say the name, but he took one of my friends who I knew was a good soul. And he basically explained to me sometimes he has to take some of his strongest warriors first to get everybody else to pay attention. So that was the answer to that. He told me about the inner voice. And basically it's been taken across religions over the years. The Chinese call it the yin and the yang. The Indians call it having a black and white wolf inside of you. And that you have to feed everyone, each one of those equally, and have balance. We've lost our balance. We were going on a wrong direction for a long time. This isn't a punishment to us. He's tried for 20 years, over 20 years to show us, and we've not paid attention at all. He's given us natural disasters. We had 9/11, brought us together. After 9/11, you had other things. In the last 2 decades, we've had many different viruses come out that haven't affected us the way this has. We've had natural disasters happen one after the other. Australia, the wildfires. I mean, you can just name it. We've had happen, and normally in the older days, it would scare people straight. because we become so self-centered into ourselves that we've forgotten just to be good to each other, to be good human beings to each other. And he's been feeding me messages for a couple of years, and I just wasn't listening the right way because I'm just like everybody else. Well, one of the messages he wanted me to do was create a thing called Get Social 239, Get Social Fort Myers, whatever it is, to help use this technology that we're all on right now to get us more in touch with the earth. And that was only the message I was getting before. Now, if you guys see a Florida man on Facebook hauled away with the lunatic jacket, then that'll be me. I didn't ask for this. A few of my close friends, I've sit there and told I do not want to say this because I don't want people to think I am out of my mind, because I'm not. I was rest assured that my message would come across to my type of people. And my meaning that is we're not judgmental. We don't take sides. We see what the world is, what it's for. We understand what family should be. And basically what he's saying is the middle class, the middle. We learned this, the yin and yang, the wolves feeding each other. Even when we were kids, we were on tater tots. Each one of you sit on one side, and then, if it's overpowered, it goes one way. If it goes overpowered, it goes the other way. So it's not a religious message. It's not a message telling me to tell you guys you have to go to church or you have to get saved. It's just telling me to take this time to listen to your inner voice. Now, he's told me more things, and I've kind of been just kind of absorbing it little by little. One of the things that he brought up was churches in general. He has no issues with people celebrating and praising God. But over the years, the transcripts have been changed. A lot of the words that they used in the old days, or a lot of it was slang, like how we have slang. So there's a lot of words that we use currently that only we would know. And 50 years from now, they'll be like, what the hell does that mean? So we've over-translated the scripts. Going to a house to worship was more for us than him. Basically, if you are leading a good life and you believe in what you're living a good life, it's to get around other people and to recharge each other. And at the same time, yes, you are celebrating whoever it's going to be, Allah, God, Buddha, whatever you want. But that's the opportunity for it. Secondly, he said, the voice said that tithing. Churches have gotten too far into tithing and don't use it for what they need to be. Basically, you give back to your community. We've lost sense of family and community, which in the long term is affecting us nationally. And it isn't just us. It's every other country out there. I was told that this is not a punishment. I was told that this is a time to take the world and put it on its knees, to give it a chance, a last warning, to get right. He told me that out of all of his creations, we've come the farthest out of any of them, but we've also come the farthest at destroying the planet. If we don't start changing our ways, we won't have to worry about $2 trillion, $5 trillion stimulus plans. There won't be nothing to plan. He's showing us already the difference of what things look like. I know it sounds crazy, guys, and Finns that have known me for a long time know that I'm just not religious. I can't stop this voice from telling me what the hell it's telling me. It wants me to help. I'm still getting a lot of it, but the main part was the 239 Get Social thing. He wants me to help, and he told me when I spread the message, there are going to be people that will come into my life that are going to help me accomplish this. I've been scared all week to even talk about this. So let me bring back a couple other things. So he told me to look up my name, and I did. And look up Daniel in the Bible. When my mother had my brother, they told her she was no longer going to be able to have kids. Well, 5 years later, I popped up. Unexpected. She named me after my great uncle. My great uncle was, I guess, a Bronco buster. And when she was a little girl, she just had, she just loved him to death. And she would tell him when she got older, she was going to marry him. And he would laugh and say, well, Bev, what about Irene? And she said, well, she could stay with him too. And I truly believe if I didn't have the family I have, I wouldn't be where I am today as far as my mindset, because my mom was an angel. My mom is just the nicest lady you could ever meet. My dad, he was a bastard. I mean, he was brutal, but it's because his dad was a bigger bastard, and that's all they knew. And we've been trying to overcompensate with our kids from our type of upbringing, and we've ruined what we are supposed to be about. So we're back at 3 a.m. Get the voice, trying to figure out what it is. I did post something on Facebook saying, "Are you kidding me? It's Easter." What I meant to say, "Are you kidding me? It's Palm Sunday." So it was actually Sunday morning at 3 a.m. that this revelation came to me. Again, I'm not a religious person. I couldn't tell you a script from any of the books. I never even owned one in my life. But then the voice told me to wait till today to kind of share this with everybody else. So I know it sounds crazy. I'm trying to, get sense of it all. I'm not anybody special. I'm not some savior, nothing like that. I just have a message to share. The other part of that message was basically simple. Get back to your family, start being good parents, actually find out, don't use TV and everything else to make your children grow. Grow with them. Be a leader to them. Be somebody they can respect and want. For the governments, stop the bullshit. Stop whatever the bullshit you guys are doing. You know you're intentionally hurting this planet. I'm not I'm just right down the middle. But basically it's a warning to religious people. Stop abusing your powers. To the ministers that have $150, $200 million bounties that they have collected. No, that wasn't what it was for. You need to stop. If we don't get right with ourselves, our community, and our families, we're not going to be around too much longer. That's about all I have to say. If anybody wants to talk to me outside of after that, great. Oh, the last part was, sorry guys, the community, the Get Social thing. He wants me to help get a center, could be any location, and use it to help us get back in touch with the simple things that we should know how to do, especially as adults now. We should know how to cook. We should know how to grow stuff. We should know how to build stuff. We should know about nutrition. We should know about handling money. We should know about helping each other out. And he wants me to start a center as the first one. There's many people that will hear this message and they can relate to it. Because believe me, I didn't want to share this. I mean, I did, but I was scared to death to even talk about this to other people. But the voice kept coming and kept saying every single day, would not stop. So I hope that he told me that there would be some people in my inner circle that would reach out to me to help with this journey. I don't know who it's going to be. I've had a few people already that know about it. But if we can do something to help each other get through this, because he told me, first of all, I wasn't guaranteed I was going to be around. I'm still fighting this. I still have pain in my chest or my lungs. So if I don't make it, I've said what I had to say. But if I get through this and keep going forward, I will take any help, and I'll talk to anybody I possibly can to get this across. Thank you guys for listening.